unveiling the mask. There was a time we used to be told when we were kids, don't talk to strangers, don't get into a stranger's car, don't walk alone, don't eat food that's not from home, don't touch people's foods, don't go to the neighbors and eat everything that you see. Learn to say you're okay. Don't trust people you don't know. Don't engage in just any conversations. We were kids. And those were the times we didn't have technology. That's from my end as a millennial. Didn't have technology. So the days, it was the days people used to send. I remember the first phone came. I don't know which year, but it was like the big. Okay, all I do remember was a very big Nokia phone, like super big, like a walkie-talkie kind of. I don't know. I can't remember which year. But before that, we didn't have any of those things. We had for those who are rich, and those are the ones who had the telephone, whether it's the one with the rolling pin. For the most of us, used to go to this, if it's in a city, it's like a stand where you used to make a call. I'm forgetting the name of that one too. Anyway, the thing is, there was a time when safety was put beforehand, where we were careful of what we said, what we did, where we were, and you know what? It kept us safe. Technology came. We became susceptible, we became easy. And now where are we? It's even more scary. There was a time people didn't know where you lived, how you lived, what you did, what you're doing, and their views never really mattered. Right now, someone is in their personal space, in their room, in their bedroom, there they are. Someone is in their kitchen, there they are. People are almost engaging in their own, closed door affairs, there they are. Your little children from the day they are born, there they are. Strangers now have a view on your home, have a view on your marriage, have a view on your relationships, have a view on how you raise everything around you, have a view on your moods, have. Eventually, you have zero control over yourself. Something happens. People, can you hear this? People, can you hear? The people become your idol. You have the views, you have the subscribers, you have the followers, and you keep forgetting one thing. You really don't know who's watching. You don't know who's real, who's fake. You don't know who's real, who's a bot. You don't know. You pretty much don't know what you're up against. You don't know who's a witch, who's a warlock, who's a good person, who's a bad person, who's an agent. You really don't know. And you speak without considering your words, your actions, your thoughts. You speak without considering your own safety. Even your own safety, you're saying, I have a secret. This is how I keep safe. The fact you opened your mouth, safety ended at that point. And the reality is, you can't just walk in the night anywhere like you used to. You can't just do anything anymore. You have to be very careful, because people are not who they say they are. And as life is becoming harder, people are becoming scarier. Right now, as you're walking, you say, me, I'm a full-grown adult. No one will want anything to do with me. There's someone who's looking at you, and they're seeing someone they can give as a ritual. And you have no idea, and they'll smile at you. Or they'll tell you, can I help you? Everything. You're like, oh, good people. They have seen how much they can make money out of you, and you're gone. There's someone who will say they will be with you and stand with you, total strangers, take you on that date and everything, and saying, I have arrived. You have no idea. It's quite interesting when you see now people defend the strangers they don't know. For example, let's start from a religious perspective. You say, I know this pastor ABCD. So let's look at it from two versions. Let's start with the one whom you see virtually versus the one who see physical. So let's take the physical. So you see this person come to church or wherever it may be. They give their sermons and their teaching, say you know them. No, you don't really know them. You're not there with them when they were dressed. You not know them when they went to bed. You not really know them when they went to sleep and their thoughts. And you don't really know what the idea was when they're giving whatever sermon or script, whatever it is they're saying. You don't know them. They might give you all the best advices of marriage, but who told you their wife is okay? They might give you the all best advices of family, but who told you their children are safe? They may give you all the best advices against occultic things. Who say they're not involved in it? Because the devil will give you 5 right things and 1 wrong thing. Does it make that the whole thing okay? No, it's a whole part of the rot. Because you see, what the enemy does is like a chicken when you throw some little grains. You bite, yeah, you follow, the next thing you trapped. Let's go to the second one, the one you've seen online. They say all the right words. You forget, like if it's on a TikTok, you can do short videos. And so whoever is editing will smartly pick what needs to be picked, do the perfect editing. Only someone so good at editing can even notice a flaw. Others go to the CGI kind of way of handling it. Anyway, at the end of the day, the sermon is given or the teacher, and you say, oh, that person speak my heart, yada, yada, yada. Do you really know the person? You don't. And so there you are, when accusations or when they do things that should make you question, you're saying, no, my spirit feels, and this is where it gets crazy. When people say, when everybody starts saying, my spirit this, my spirit that, your spirit that, we are not denying that we were told that in the times to come, the latter days, that is Joel 2:28, Acts 2, yes, that there will be an outpouring, yes. But at the same time, you need to look at it. Not everybody will receive it the way God had entailed it. Others will be like Balaam, who will use the gifts God has given them to be able to do evil. And right now, you have to be very careful, because right now, everybody seems to be a prophet or a prophetess. Right now, everyone seems to be a teacher. Everyone seems to invite. You really don't know. And we can't say that they have to go through the institution, because that's even the worst. Because those ones who come, they all feeling they are better. Then you have the Pharisee, all that crap. So you have to be very careful, and you have to discern the time and the times we are living in. And so you're there defending this pastor or someone, whoever it is, yet there's enough evidence compounded to show that this person is off. But no, they're my, others call them papas, mamas, fathers, whatever nonsense. Because Matthew 26 says, don't call anyone any of those things. Not father, not father, not rabbi, not their thing. It's very clear, because you start idolizing them. But yeah, people will still worship them. And then let's go to the entertainment industry. You watch a clip, a movie or a series, and maybe that series or movie is like a conspiracy theory kind of a thing. And then you start saying, you see, that actors figure it out. No, they weren't. Remember, they were acting. It doesn't, when you're acting, it's not who you are. It is who you should portray. Remember, before an actor takes that place, they have to be able to, they have agents who put them through rigorous, they have to go, I'm forgetting they have to, no, not cues, I'm forgetting the name, where they have to like queue to go and auditions. Yes, they have to go for auditions. After they go through auditions, they pass through the auditions, and then they're given scripts. They have to recite the scripts. Stress, it's not a joke. And then now they have to go through the whole script, understand what it all means, and then they have to immerse themselves to be their characters that are there. That's not who they are. Even some of them even tell you they get deep into the demonic, but no one will listen to them. Like, no. And there you are defending an entertainer. You've already chosen your idol. And you wonder when they go and when they end up doing some things, you wonder why they did it. From the very beginning, they don't know you. When they were acting or when they were singing, they're not singing for you. They needed the money. Yes, they had the gift and they known how to maneuver. But it doesn't mean they care about who you are. You're not their problem. You're not even their solution. You just are by the way, because they have to go to their production or record labels and they have to abide by their contracts they were given. And then they don't determine anything. There's a whole chain of people. So you must treat everyone and every situation with a pinch of salt. You can't just go and be wooed by everyone and everything. Must be careful. A politician, whether president, whether prime minister, whoever it is, when they're doing campaigns, all politicians, from the top level, whatever, as long as they're a politician, when they're doing campaigns, you need to sit and do the math alone. How much money do you see poured during a campaign period? Do your calculation. Then calculate how much they will get in terms of their salary and allowances. When you do the calculation, there's such a big inequality between the money they will earn and the money they spent during campaign. So you need to ask yourself the question, who paid for their campaign money? Because whoever funded them controls them. You have no idea of the nitty-gritties and the deals they made behind the scenes. Some may have promised to give all the most important parts of a country, every natural asset. Maybe that was part of the deal. And the idea is when this company or whoever it is takes over, they'll get their 20% cut two ways. That is in power and out of power. So when you're not only fighting the person, you need to look at who funded their campaign. Because whoever funds the campaign has control of your politician. It doesn't really matter which country or nation you represent. Those are the facts. Because the money they earn versus the money they use for campaign, the money they use for campaign is always above figures. The money they use for those cars, the money they use for all those, and a campaign isn't a 1 year thing. It's a thing that are planned 2-3 years before. So where does the money come from? And exclusive of the corrupt money within their regime, where does the money come from? Someone funds them. Who is it? Once you figure out that part of the rabbit hole, then you'll understand where your country is going, the way it's going, or the rules and the policies and the bills. For example, another way to look at it is a company, whether it's an NGO or a multinational, and they have seen they want resources in a particular country. They understand there's a campaign period. They identify who they need to identify. They find the individual. And they tell them, once you get into power, you lobby for me. We will do anything for you. We will have people disappear for you. All we need is, we need to be in that seat. You are our proxy agent. Fine. Deals are made. Hands are shaken. Money exchanges hands. Boom. Campaign. They win. They sit in power. And the moment they get into power, they start passing laws and bills that the citizens of that country start to question. How did we get here? And the deal is and that's what these most multinationals NGOs do. They lobby. They make a lot of money through lobbying. Why? Because when you can be able to lobby, you can be able to control how many bills. That's how you become a monopoly. And then once they're able to do that, they're able to control every movement, every resource, every single thing to the detail. And when this politician has been in power, at the same time, their children are hired, are absorbed by these companies. So now they have something personal of that person. So not only the deal, now they have a family member or something. To add, once this politician person leaves power, they're also getting a piece of the cake. Mind you, while in power, they're still getting a piece of the cake. As they leave, they're still getting a piece of the cake. And what the multinational, these companies do, they look for the next one. They will watch your emotions. They will watch your history. Man is like a book, like they have you on a scope. And they move to the next one. And every company has another company that has bought them. Like right now, apart from the BlackRocks, the Vanguards, and the others, you need to look at almost every major company has been bought by another company, by another company, by another company. And so you always need to look at who bought these other companies, who's holding most of these companies, who's the umbrella. You know, the umbrella at the peak of the umbrella, where they are the peak, I don't know what to call it, like a dot or something, and then now it's like this. So the upper end of the umbrella, who's on top? Because everyone else is below. That whoever is on top is who you should be very keen on, because whatever happens to these ones below is determined by whoever is on top. So if you're telecommunication, you're thinking they don't have your information, whoever bought them, whoever has the biggest stake in that company has your information. And when you think you're safe, not really safe. If they want to track you, they'll get you. if they want to. And so that's why it is very important to always remember, treat everything and everyone and every situation with a pinch of salt, because that's the only way you come to learn. Now, when you want to unveil a mask, it takes time. You cannot unveil a mask of anything or anyone until there is a moment. For example, there has to be something, a situation, a scenario that will shake things, and then everything will be what it is. A good example, if you take a cup, whether it's a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or water in a glass. To be able to know the amount of water that can be the quantity proper, sometimes you have to, the glass fall. When the glass falls, the water that spills off is when you know, oh, this is the amount of water, there was a lot. You won't know it's in a glass. Why? Because in the glass is within the funnel shape, whatever shape of that cup or that glass. But until you spill it, then you're like, oh, so this is the actual. This is not what I thought I saw. Because when it's in a glass, it's within a control system. If it's in a cup, it's within a control system. It is what's inside. When you pour tea or you pour coffee or you pour water, we don't complain about the glass or the cup of coffee, because you don't drink the glass. You don't drink the cup. You drink what's inside of it. Now, to unveil a mask, something has to be shaken, that whatever is inside has to come out. It's like taking a soft drink and then shaking it. It fizzles out. That's when you know the amount. And remember, when it fizzles out with pressure. So that's the only way you'll be able to know what's really going on. Without that, you can never be able to figure out what's really going on. So you have to be able to understand, what is this that I'm dealing with? Now, a relationship, you never know a relationship until when you start getting to know the person and you start listening to the red flags. Some people will immediately show you they are. If they're abusive, you will hear very few words or even actions. There's a level of possessiveness that is questionable. There's the one there's protectiveness and there's possessiveness. When the possessiveness comes, you have to be very careful. There's a difference between someone protecting you for your own good and someone look at you as a property. And the only way you figure that out is as they are talking. They will throw in a few words. Things like, if you leave me, you will, ABCD will happen to you. I think, those are love words. You need to take it very carefully. Because before you could say, those are words. Right now in this time and age, you have to take every word very careful. Because it's in those small words. Now, the only way you will know your mask proper is when you get involved with them. The problem is not everyone gets to escape. Not everyone gets that chance. So you're saying you want a man who has money, who has everything. You have to ask yourself this question. How do they earn the money? Second, is money everything? Fine. There are people who say, I'd rather suffer in a Range Rover than suffer in a bicycle. Good for you. Congratulations. Wow, you've seen the end. You've seen the greener pastures. Good for you. But what entailed that person to have been made what that is? What makes you think you are the only person? If they had you, how many others do you think they will have? You may be the one that they will use as the face, as their wife, who they'll show everyone this is their wife. But behind closed doors, you're being punched, you're being kicked, you're being stabbed, and no one will ever know. Because if their reason was dowry, they already paid the full dowry. Now they don't look at you as a person, but as a property. So you wanted the money, now you have the money. Now you are a property of this person. You can't run, you can't call, you can't do dress, you can't do nothing. They have you on a score. And now you're now their wife to be seen. But now the girlfriends now come and you can never speak. How many women have in that situation? Let's go to men. You find that girl, you say, now I'll find. You follow the body, you don't look at the character, you don't do all that. You say, no, this body is what I need. This does everything. This hourglass. You're forgetting there's a time that hourglass will fade. The character. And in your time of storms, that hourglass person won't help you. The same way they found you, the same way they'll find your replacement. And they can keep you there just to be seen, as they do everything, and you're in a situation you can't get yourself out of. How many people in their lowest moments, even in their most medical, critical moments, they were left alone? The only way you know that a plane is strong, it has to be in the sky. That's the only way you will know, not just in the sky. There has to be a storm, a turbulence that will shake that plane in mid-air for the pilots and the engineers to know this plane is strong enough to handle ABCD. The only way you know the strength of a ship, it has to go through the storms, the tides, the waves, strong ones. Then you'll know, this ship is very strong. The way you know that your car is strong, it has to go through rough terrains. And they're like, those ball joints, that's a V joint. Those shocks, those are a good one. The only you know your motorcycle is strong, it has to go a particular terrain. They're like, now I have the real deal. You will never know anything until it goes through a storm. You can till your land and everything until that soil breaks and there's water that has to break, that the cloud has to break for rain. That's when you know if the crop you bought is going to survive in that type of soil. You need to be very careful and cautious in the times we're living in. The times are evil and sadly they'll only get worse. They'll only get worse because people have become depraved. People want anything and everything. People are forgetting to protect their children because we have weird people out here who are doing weird things. And it's out there, do your own research, where they are paying people to watch little ones being done sad things, and they are paying. It's the depraved world we're living in. People are looking at others as commodities. Nations are looking at other nations like you are nothing. People are like, I think I'm better off to take care of ABCD property more than you. Really? Hence this colonization, neo-colonization, and all these other things we are witnessing. Treat everyone and everything with a pinch of salt. You don't know anyone. You don't know anything. Even you yourself, you are learning yourself. The person you are today is not the person you'll be tomorrow. Yes. Why? Because you are thinking, your approach, even your level of faith changes with time. Obviously, there'll be a few here and there who will stick to being the same. There's no changes within them. And the other way for you to be able to know your potential, you have to break. A caterpillar, for it to be a butterfly, it has to have a process. But when it's a caterpillar, everybody wants to run. You're like, ew. When it comes a butterfly, you will never know what's on the other side until that situation goes through a storm. You don't know who you are proper until you go through a storm. A storm that will shake every part of you and will stand strong. The strength of a tree is in the type of storm. When the weeds are strong and the tree stands strong, then that's when you know that tree is powerful. That tree has good foundation. So you don't know your foundation if you've not built it well. And when the time for the storm comes, then you shall know if you built your foundation on a rock, on soil, or whatever it may be. So treat everyone and treat everything with a pinch of salt. Because once you unveil that mask, you don't know who's on the other side or what's on the other side. So every day, as much as we want to say that we live in an open-minded society, do not forget to put measures to protect yourself and those close to you or those vulnerable within your life. Because at the end of the day, the world isn't what it says it is. It is what you think it is, because that's the picture and the illusion will be given. But one thing you'll always understand, the world is scarier day by day. So treat everyone, treat everything, and treat every situation with a pinch of salt. Just because it says it's green doesn't mean it could be a mixture of colors. Just because it glitters does not mean it's gold. You have to be able to separate what is real, what is an illusion, what is real, and what is fake. And the only way you know someone's character, there has to be a storm. May God guide us all. Because these times we're living in get scarier and darker the more you think about it. God help us all.